You are listening to an update from Washington with the Congressman from Alabama's 1st Congressional District, Bradley Byrne. Now from our nation's capital, Congressman Byrne.
Welcome into this week's edition of An Update from Washington. I'm Seth Morrow, joined by Congressman Bradley Byrne. And today we're talking about an issue important for our national security, and that is Syrian refugees entering the United States. But before we get to that, Congressman, there was recently a terrorist attack in Paris. What was your reaction to that?
Well, like everybody around the world, I saw it as a tremendous human tragedy. These were innocent people out trying to have fun on a Friday night, and they were specifically targeted by these terrorists who are purely evil. And it's not just an attack on those individuals or in Paris or in just France. It's an attack on all civilized people in the world. And so this is not something that we can just let pass. We have got to do some things to protect the American people and take the fight to these ISIS terrorists in Syria and in Iraq.
And one of those individuals who were responsible for that terrorist attack apparently was a Syrian refugee that had entered the country through a refugee process. You've spoken out against allowing Syrian refugees into the United States. Why is that?
Well, I want to make it very clear that I'm not against refugees. In fact, we've had a very successful refugee program in my district for a long time. This particular population of refugees, the ones from Syria, pose a particular threat to us. We know because the ISIS terrorists have said we're going to embed our terrorist soldiers in with the refugees. And as you said, it looks like they did so successfully in France. So I just think that threat is too big, and I particularly think that when I have learned through all the various things we've done to try to study this, that the vetting system depends upon having information about these individuals in our data processing systems. Well, we don't have much information about anybody in Syria because we've had nobody on the ground to give us information. So someone could come forward and say, I'm so-and-so from this village and I'm a persecuted Christian. We have no way of knowing whether that's accurate or not. So because of the level of threat and because we have so little information about the people who are coming to this country, I think it's the better thing to do to keep them out of America.
And you sent a letter to the president recently telling him to stop allowing Syrian refugees in the United States. Is that the best way to go about this?
Well, at the time, it was the most important thing we could do to do quickly. I wanted to do something quickly after what happened on Friday night. So we sent it. A lot of other people, by the way, have sent letters too, and the president has reacted very negatively to that, which I think is unfortunate. So I introduced a bill last night that would defund the program so that they couldn't do it because they wouldn't have the money to do it. And it's cost a lot of money to do this. So that, I think, is probably the best thing we can do. And we'll see how things go as we try to get that bill and other bills before the Congress.
So Senator Jeff Sessions, I know, has also said that the best way to go about this is to try to defund the program. Why is this the best way?
Well, it takes a lot of money to do this. It takes money to transport them. It takes money to vet them. It takes money once they get here. They provide money for them to live on, et cetera. So it's an expensive program on a per person basis. So you take the money away, they just can't do it. It won't work. So I think that's the clearest and best way, and I know Senator Sessions feels that way too, and I appreciate his strong voice on that.
We're running out of time, but what is the message that you would send to the Islamic State?
We are not going to let you come to the United States of America and harm the U.S. citizens, whether you embed your terrorists with refugees or whether you try to do it some other way. And we are going to take the fight to you there in Syria and there in Iraq. We know you are purely evil, and the only way to deal with that kind of evil is to destroy it, which means we're going to destroy you. And we're going to bring the entire civilized world with us from every part of the globe to do what needs to be done to root you out and protect civilized people all over the world.
Well, thank everyone for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Looking forward to it. I hope everybody is getting ready for a big Thanksgiving, and make sure you stay in touch with us by looking us up on the web at burn.house.gov.
You have been listening to an update from Washington with Congressman Bradley Byrne. Congressman Byrne encourages you to contact him with any comments or questions. You can email him online at burn.house.gov or find him on Facebook under U.S. Representative Bradley Byrne. Stay tuned to this station next week for another timely report from our nation's capital. This broadcast has been pre-recorded.